John, I would say that you and I have been about as busy as ever this past week. We've got a lot of stuff to discuss tonight. We have more special guests joining us, eyewitnesses. Gene and Sandra will be with us. We are also going to have another sponsor-exclusive segment, so people should stick around for that. If you're not already a sponsor, please check out subscribestar.com/IamJohnCullen, patreon.com/IamJohnCullen. Those are the pages where you'll find John's sponsor-exclusive work, including a simulcast of the broadcasts that we do together like this one. People can sponsor Crowdsource the Truth on odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth, crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, and subscribestar.com, and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. John, tonight, I've been contacted by two eyewitnesses to the event. We've got Gene and Sandra with us. They are 9/11 truthers and have been searching for the answers to that unsolved crime for the past 25 years. Gene, Sandra, thanks for joining us. How are you guys doing tonight?
Great, Jason.
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having us.
Could you please introduce yourselves to our audience? Because I'm sure I didn't do it justice. And thank you both so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. So we're from the Pittsburgh area. As you said, we were involved in the 9/11 Truth Movement for quite a while now. We work with Richard Gage and the gang. We were going out there as supporters of the president that said, he made two promises. You will find out who really knocked down the World Trade Center. Said that February 17th, 2016. And then recently with Fox and Friends, he said, he was asked, will you release the 9/11 files? And he said, yep. So we thought we would go out and support, wear our garb, and maybe even shout something out at the end of the rally, but we didn't get to that. So that's where we're at.
Well, I want to hear more about your work in the 9/11 movement, but I wonder, and this will be an opinion, of course, do you think that Donald Trump's commitment to revealing 9/11 truth could have played a role in the attempt on his life?
It has crossed my mind.
I would love to think so. But it's been a very long time. I don't think that it's the threat anymore that it would have been maybe a few years ago. He also said he'd released the JFK files, the Epstein stuff. So there's a lot of stuff. So was it maybe in the greater scheme of things, it may have contributed. Just 9/11, I don't think so, but who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would offer that it's possible that the parties responsible for all of those things that you're talking about conspired to attempt to assassinate Donald Trump. So you guys were there. Why don't you tell us in your own words exactly how it all went down?
Sure. If I could share my screen, if that's all right.
Yeah, please do.
Right. Let me know when you can see it.
We've got it.
All right, so just step you through some pictures. This was the screen. We were about 50 to 70 yards and looking at Trump off to his right. It's a beautiful day.
Off to our right.
Well, off to our right, yes.
Yes.
Looking at, yes. And let's see, let's click through here. Whoops, I went the wrong way. I immediately noticed the snipers up on the roof. This is the warehouse to the left if you're looking at the stage. Got a bunch of great photos of the whole area. You will notice that I
No, wait, hang on one second. I'm sorry to interrupt, but let's go back to that sniper on the roof photo. How
Yes.
close were you able to get, and what can we see? Oh my gosh, zoom in on that.
That was already zoomed, probably the max of my Samsung.
Oh,
S10.
got it. So these are the counter snipers. These are the Secret
Yes.
Service snipers. Got it. So we're getting a sense of where you are in the crowd as well.
Yes.
Right.
We could see the water tower from where we were. I could barely see the top of the building. I'll show you. Here you can see the snipers. This is now, we were quite a ways away. But
But they weren't set up for quite a long time.
right here you can see the news
What do you
media.
mean by that, Sandra? They weren't set up.
It just seemed that they were standing, they were looking out, but they weren't set up basically, ready to shoot or anything like that. The way you saw them later on with the tripod was already standing. Now everything's just like lying flat, kind of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what was this in terms of time relative to when Trump arrived? How soon?
8 minutes before, according to an interview that Clayton Morris just
actually,
did
I
on Redacted.
The
He
time.
What do
said it
you
was
guys
8
think?
minutes.
Were
He
these
said it was
snipers
8
ready? Let's ask what
Yeah.
these guys think. Do you guys think that
I'm
these
just telling you what I
snipers were
know.
ready 8 minutes before?
Well,
What
right
did
here
you
you can
observe?
see I have the timestamp. Was it 5:09 and 58 seconds when I took this video?
So basically at 5 o'clock, they started playing videos, music, get people in the mood. And then around 5:30, they started, inserting kind of some audio saying, President, or some visuals about President Trump being on his way and whatnot.
Mhm.
And they did an hour of that, and he came on at 6, pretty much
Mhm.
on the
So
dot.
so these guys were setting up an hour before. So the eyewitness testimony that we heard on Redacted, that these guys were setting up only 8 minutes before, doesn't. You're showing us photographic evidence. These guys are on the roof an
Mhm.
hour
Here's
before.
here's at
Right.
5:23. Yep.
Okay, so
Yep.
an hour before these guys are setting up, and they may have like gotten on target 8 minutes before, start looking over there or trying to look over there. But clearly, what you guys are showing us here is photographic evidence. These guys were setting up on the roof clearly an hour before Trump came out. Is that correct? That's my understanding.
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
Now, you guys also said you could see the water tower. Did you personally observe any activity, like someone standing on the water tower and shooting? A lot of eyewitnesses have said that they did see that.
That's
I
David
did
Dutch in
not.
the photo.
Hang on.
That's David Dutch. That's David Dutch, the guy who gets shot right there.
Okay.
That's him.
Okay.
Let me just answer. Did you
There's
guys
lots of
see anyone
stuff.
on the water tower?
So I personally did not. I'm open to the idea though, but I did not see anybody.
I honestly wasn't paying attention. We were not looking for any kind of signs of trouble anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Now, can we roll back in the video to see
That's him.
Sure.
David Dutch?
That's
Let me
him in
come
the
back.
corner. So you can see him with the red, white, and blue top, and he has a hat on. He's shot twice, it turns out, I think. So he's hit with 2 different rounds. That's him right there, next to the dark guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
That's him. So the
And
dark
were
guy
you
with the red hat.
rolling video on Trump when the shots were fired?
Unfortunately not. Right.
Okay.
There's another aspect of your footage that's very important, Jason, that you and I are going to appreciate. Can you back up just a smidge where you had that wide angle shot? And I want Jason and I are going to note something here that's really important. That
What?
where that guy is with the cameras and the microphones. We have there's official microphones. There's a press pool in the middle, and then these guys are set up off to the side. You just helped us locate exactly where the microphones are. The crack thump stuff that we keep hearing, it's not necessarily recorded at the podium unless we're hearing the podium recording. A lot of the other footage, like the RSBN, is being recorded in the press pit that you just showed us.
No.
But
They're
the
not going
press
to have a
pit's over here.
microphone in the press pit. They're going to have a wire
You're right.
running
You're right.
from the
You're right.
podium
You're right.
to
You're
the
right.
press
You're right. You're right. You're right. So now, though, again, this is giving us perspective, though, of where these cameras are located. We see this guy on the platform, right? So now we have the camera angle.
So the press pit was over further to the left, centered.
And
Right,
behind us.
right.
No,
Right.
it's still in front of us.
Really?
But yeah.
Oh.
See if I can come over. Swing. I think I swing left. I think I might just not get it.
And so when the shots started flying, what was your immediate reaction? What did you guys think?
So everybody yelled first. It looked like let me just get a screenshot so we could kind of see where we were. Just the look. Where's my wide angle?
Can I'd like to add here that I'm Canadian. So I'm, not familiar with the gun culture at all. It's not on my radar. It's not something I never think about, even though you hear it in the news and stuff. But don't forget, we just had July the 4th behind us. People were doing fireworks till way beyond July the 4th, well into a few days later. So when the shots started, my first reaction was, well, it was fireworks, firecrackers,
Right.
something along those lines,
Right.
until we realized that it wasn't, and everybody started screaming, "Get down!" And Gene made sure that I went down,
Yep. So
but
this,
he stayed up.
so yeah, this is the instant. This is 6:11 and 59 seconds. Shots have already happened. Everybody yelled. So what you heard were what sounded like firecrackers. I immediately noticed that this fork truck on the right spraying hydraulic fluid. I'm in the construction trades. I realized that's happening. What am I seeing here? Everybody's yelling, "Get down!" I get Sandra down to my left. Oddly enough, I wasn't afraid for my life at all. I immediately knew, get your camera out, start recording, and get everything you can immediately. So that's
Awesome.
what's happening here. Let's play a little video. Heard me at the beginning. I just start yelling out a prayer. I'm going to try to skip past that.
I don't know if we can hear the sound through Zoom.
Just one prayer doesn't hurt.
Oh, there we go.
That's right. So right here you can see the snipers doing what they're. I know, John, you've started to look into what they were doing exactly, taking fire or whatnot.
And
I
Sandra,
want you to do me a favor. Hang on. I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to roll back, stay zoomed in on them. I'm going to show you guys something pretty remarkable. After they take fire, they reposition, and he's going to move his body. And I want you guys to watch this in particular, because this is about as damning evidence as you're going to see. So if there's any way you can zoom in on them and play the video, you guys are going to get stunned when you see this.
Unfortunately, I think the shots have already taken place.
yeah, the shots have already been
That's
fired.
okay.
So what? John,
That's okay.
let's just do
That's
this.
okay. Do me a favor. Just
No.
listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Hit play. Watch these guys. That's it. That's all you got to do. The shots have already happened. They're going to reposition. Watch where they reposition. That's all.
Trying to keep it steady for you guys.
I think we're going to have a lot of opportunity to analyze these videos closely, and maybe what we should do is just focus on the experience that Sandra and Gene had at the event, because you guys were there. You can tell us, Sandra, you've just mentioned that being from Canada, you haven't been around guns. How did you feel when you observed these snipers on the roof? Were you nervous, or did you feel safer?
No. Well, neither nor really. To me, it was just protocol.
Normal.
It was obviously, here was a presidential candidate.
Right.
Who they all need protection for various reasons. Trump probably more than most. And so it was just, it didn't frazzle me at all. It was just, they were there, and I understood why they were there. But then once I did realize what was happening, I mean, it happened so quickly. And by the time I realized what had just happened, it was already over. And the crowd was so calm, and there was no panic. There was not the stampede that you might have expected. There was this kind of lingering sense of, could there be more? But for some reason, maybe because the crowd was so calm, I just felt calm. I'm like, okay, I don't know what exactly just happened. I don't know, somebody got hurt. I'm too short. I couldn't see above the heads in front of me. Gene got a better picture than I did. But you immediately were Trump got shot, Trump got hit, Trump is bleeding, Trump's on the ground, and okay, and then you started hearing he got shot, he got hurt in the ear, and then you heard them saying, looks like he's okay, he just got up. So the news traveled from the front rows to the back rows.
Wow.
Really, really quickly, and people were just concerned mostly. That's why they stuck around and made sure that he was okay, I guess.
Because it seemed like a long time, right? That he was down there, Gene? It was like, what's going on?
I think I waited about 2 to 5 minutes for the crowd to start to, we're starting to shuffle away. And I told her, hold on to my shirt, we're going up front. She said, what? And I said, just hold on to me. And we made a beeline for the podium. We think we got within 20 feet of it here. You'll see shortly. These are the people funneling out. I'm still trying to get in. This is now to the seating area. So we're getting closer.
And Gene, do you guys have a website where you're sharing all these videos? Why don't you tell everybody where they can find the work that you're doing?
Right now, I'm on Twitter. I go by at 911Gene, Gene, 911Gene. I haven't put any of these videos up. I've been scouring them for evidence. I think once I was getting to show you and John Cullen, I think happy to turn these over in high quality and see if you guys can find anything
That would be
out
great.
of it.
Well, I can tell you what you captured is really important. What you have there is evidence that the snipers on that northern roof, the roof that's closest to the shooter by American Glass, you've captured them repositioning and aiming towards the woods, not American
Whoa.
Glass.
Whoa.
Yes.
And we haven't seen
So
that
that's
before, have we?
well, we have, but this is another angle. So I
It's way
published, right, and Gene's on them the whole time. So
Yeah.
he has them the entire time after, and this is important, it's after they're shot at, but that's good. In other words, now they've been shot at, what do they do? Where do they look? Where do they aim? And what Gene is showing here is they're pointing towards the wood, not even the water tower, towards the woods,
It's amazing.
where we said there might be somebody in a tree stand. Now, see how his body's oriented right now? If you give it, now play it through, you're going to see he's going to move to the left, aiming to the right. He's going to reposition. The other guy's hiding. The other guy's peeing in his pants, I think. The other guy was like ducking for cover and in the fetal position. I swear I got footage of him in the fetal position. So
Yep.
This
guy
is really
moves.
good, though. This is really good because now, so let me ask you guys
You got
this.
it, Gene.
Do you guys have any other friends who are with you at this? You said you're from Pittsburgh. How close do you live to Butler?
We're close.
About 40 minutes maybe.
Yeah, yep. So we
Because
just
as
went
John
back up
is,
there. I just went back up there Friday. This past Friday, we went up to the front office, said, "Hey, is there any chance we can get in there?" And he said, "Absolutely not. State police will walk around there finding anybody that wants to." And I tried to explain some of the trajectories with him, and he said, "Buddy, you're talking to somebody that just doesn't give a shit." And I patted him on the back and said, "Thank you anyway, sir," and walked away. But I would like
but
to
you
get my
did,
drone up there.
and you did get some, you have to be careful because if they've locked that area off, the FAA, who knows what they're going to try to do, but you did get some good information about Max Yearick. We're going to talk about that in just a
Yes.
minute. But the reason I'm asking is, did you know anybody else who was at the rally? Because I'm seeing what looks like thousands of cell phones, and we've just only seen a couple dozen videos. I think there's going to be a lot of videos. If there's anybody that you know, Sandra or Gene, or anybody who's watching right now who has video, even if you think, oh, I didn't capture the shooting, this is nothing, you still have incredibly valuable information. Now, did you guys see this dude in a gray suit talking to the people on the roof with the dead guy?
No, I did not. Let me. What was I going to say there? Lost my train of thought. I do know a friend. Her name. It's okay to drop her name. Her name is Holly. She was standing basically in the bleachers behind where this camera is sitting. She has a bunch of footage as well.
I'd love to speak to her.
And also, I don't know if you're aware, Senator Ron Johnson has said he used in his article that was written about him that, keep your phones, back up your videos and send them in because we can do audio analysis, which I think is fantastic. So yeah, you saw thousands of phones and each one of them is a point that can be recorded and you can start doing distance calculations on the echoes. So
Absolutely.
Can I show you guys something? Can I show you something pretty interesting?
sure.
Jason, if you wouldn't mind popping open your browser and doing a quick search for some software called Triangula.
I can do
And
that.
Triangula software allows us to simply take cell phone video of an event, put it into the system, and it will tell you where the shooters were. It is that simple. It is that. Go, scroll through the page. It's
So
that
somebody's
simple.
basically done what you were talking about. They've made an open source version of the Carnegie Mellon thing.
Well, I don't know if it's open source, but they took the Carnegie Mellon model, right?
But they're
And
selling it.
Right. And so they have it so that all we would need to do is collect eyewitness video, and it will analyze and it only needs 3 to begin. So you'll get a rough estimate with 3, but the more video you add,
this is one of these things where if you have to ask, you can't afford it. There's no download it.
Well,
Get a demo.
okay, but again, we got Senator Ron Johnson. We got senators looking into this. The question again, I asked this the other day: why do we not have a mobile shot spotter system? Why
Here
are
it
we
is.
not using this? Well, right? Why don't we not? Let's take the videos. Somebody spend 25 grand. Let's host this at Amazon Web Services, and let's put the videos in. I mean, come on, this isn't.
Yeah.
It's not $100,000. I guarantee you, we can get this for 25, 50 grand.
Yeah.
That's something
come-
certainly to look at.
I come from the software world. Yeah, I come from the software world. We can get software that'll analyze video and tell us here's where the shooters were. One of the key elements that we had in the Vegas shooting, and Gene, I know you're familiar with some of my work on the Vegas shooting.
Yep.
One of the things we had in the Vegas shooting that they only shared, I think, earlier today, Jason,
Yeah.
how many empty brass shell casings were found?
Right, exactly. Well, they're already obviously lying about that, John. It's important for people to remember that there was 10 days and they've been able to look at everything that you've been doing, everything that Mike Adams has been doing, everything that everybody has been doing, and say, okay, so we know there are like maybe 3 or 5 or whatever the number is. They're going to be able to figure out how they need to manipulate this lie in order to compensate for any evidence that people have already discovered. I think that's a big reason why so much confusing information was initially put out with 3 different pictures of somebody who's supposed to be crooks, and this story
Remind you
that he's-
something? Remember the leaked photos, with Vegas and the with the
this
blood
is a
coming out?
standard process that they're trying to confuse people, and they're trying to open up vectors so that people start doing research and they can figure out what we are researching and specifically
Hang on.
what and how they need to cover up.
Gene, that looks like CPR is being done on somebody over there. What do we got?
Yeah, I think that was the gentleman in all white that was hit.
That's Corey.
In all white. Whoa, 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 whoa. All white. The gentleman in all white that was hit. Can we slow down?
Yeah,
Maybe
forgive
it's
me. I
not.
might be
Okay.
a little ignorant on here. I thought there were 2 people that dropped in that top row over here.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
wait a second.
uh-huh.
Wait a second. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let me just put the brakes on this. I want to make sure we're not doing an interactive video investigation session right now, because that's going to take hours. We're going to have these videos and we're going to spend hours poring over them. I want Gene and Sandra to share their experience with us, but we also need to get to the part of your research, Gene, where you
Yes.
have been investigating Max Yearick. You've uncovered some incredible stuff, including you located his father owned a 1999 white GMC Safari van, right? Tell us what you found about Yearick here.
Okay, so let's get on to that. So how did this whole thing start? It started from Roger Stone put up a tweet. Said, my sources say the failed assassin was in fact Maxwell Yearick, who first surfaced here. I saw this,
How did?
kind of thought,
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on, slow down. The minute I see Roger Stone at midnight, the day of, so within 6 hours?
He
Yep.
had that. I saw that too. That's where I first heard about Yearick.
and it was
So-
deleted.
How does
He
Roger
deleted it.
Stone in 6 hours? He's the guy who's got this
He's
figured
very
out in 6
connected.
hours.
Lots of people contact him. I don't know if he is or isn't, but what was weird about it was that he put it out and then he deleted it. Like Gene just said, it caught my attention as well. So wait, hang on a second. I'm getting confused because Gene is sharing stuff and I'm sharing stuff. So, okay, tell us what you got here, Gene.
So Roger Stone did make this declaration. Yeah, it's shown at midnight, roughly 6 hours after the attempted assassination. He's putting out that it's this gentleman. I just sort of saw the picture. It's the gentleman on the right. That's Maxwell Yearick. Sort of shrugged it off. It did go down. And then later on, I
Right.
did see he put it back up. I inadvertently deleted earlier. Credible sources insist that the shooter in the Trump attempted assassination is in fact Maxwell Yearick, who first surfaced here. So he had it back up the next evening,
Yeah.
I guess we'll say.
Yeah, about 24 hours later.
24
What
hours
did you
later.
think about him deleting it? Did that attract your
Yeah.
attention in any?
Oh, yeah, definitely did. That's kind of what. Now all of a sudden I'm okay. What's going on here? He deleted it. What's going on? So I followed the link here. It's to a TV station in Pittsburgh. There were 2 stories on it, and I just want to play this. It's about a minute and a half. This is pretty good though.
No. Don't play a video because that's going to get the copyright deal going and all
okay.
that sort of stuff. So wait a second. This is why I like to control the screen sharing.
Yeah,
What I'm
good
saying
thing.
is, so okay, sorry.
So I'll do it without full screen
Basically
sharing.
the kid's arrested at
Yes.
a Trump protest for resisting arrest. There's 3 people that are arrested. Let's just keep it on the still frame. There's 3 people that are arrested. This young woman has died. We don't know how, but she
Yes.
died at the age of 31. This other guy, Keenan, he's come up too. People have mentioned something, but I think that's just throwing us off. The thing that also caught my attention after Roger Stone posted that is that the picture of the dead guy, in my mind, this is Yearick. It just looks like him, right?
Yep. So I look at the face. I was a little. Some things jumped out at me. My friends, me. I noticed. I remember in that picture that we just saw of him that he had gauges in his ear.
Right.
And focused on this, and people are telling me, "No, that's blood. That's blood." And I'm like, I don't know. I mean,
It's inconclusive
this
at
looks
best.
like-
That could
yeah, it
easily
looks
be
like a
surgery
scar.
from stitching up a torn earlobe.
Yep.
Is that
And
grass underneath? Is that grass? Why is there
That's-
green?
No, it's just a
My
weird light.
surprise is, I think the pants, of the officer behind him, holding him off.
Sure.
It's
You
not
sure?
grass.
Because
It's-
it looks,
I've seen this
hang on.
picture a million times. It's just a
Yeah.
Looks
way
to
it's
me
being
like it's-
presented.
Let me finish my sentence. It looks to me like that's Thomas Crook's ear on Maxwell Yearick.
Correct. That's what we've been working on for the past several days, is that this photo has been retouched. And the fact that
Oh, that
Senator
would-
Ron
that would-
Johnson has spoken to the SWAT team, who says that somebody was on the roof saying, send your pictures to the ATF. And the fact
Right.
that that information came out a day after I said, here's the reasons why I think this photo has been retouched. Now we got a guy on the roof asking for the photos of the dead guy. I call the guy who's the head of the SWAT team, and he's all cagey about the chain of evidence of the phone
go back.
photos.
Go back to the ear. I think the evidence that it's a retouched photo and that is Crook's ear on Max Yearick is that there are bushes behind the ear. That's not somebody's pants. That photo of the ear was pasted in there, and there's a
They
background
didn't
there that's
take the
green.
grass from the ear, though. This was very carefully. I mean, again, I want to avoid critical
I see a
evaluation of
different
this.
background than the roof of the building. To me, it's like I see forest. There shouldn't be forest behind his neck there, should there? Maybe
You
there
can
should
see
be.
up here.
Maybe
you
there
can
should
see-
be.
Up here you can see the edge. So the roof edge is like back. Oh,
Yeah,
something
it's
is-
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
the aspect of the photo that's. I would like to just sort of avoid critical analysis of
yeah.
the
Yeah.
digital evidence and just this is the current hypothesis, is that this photo was retouched. It was deliberately released. It conflates the very distinctive features of 2 different suspects' ears. I agree with what John just said. The top part of this person's ear looks like it does match photos we've seen of Thomas Crook's ear. The
Yes.
bottom part, I agree with Gene, looks like someone who has gauges that have been sewn up because the hole stretched out too much and his earlobe was in danger of falling apart. And I believe the ATF or somebody who was up on the roof in a gray suit deliberately released this photograph on 4chan right away so that people would be misdirected and there'd be a lot of confusion surrounding exactly who it is on the roof and who was killed. Because this is what George Webb said when he was standing outside the wrong water tower. He said, in any kind of rally shooter situation that you're going to have, you want to put out a fog. And that fog is what these intelligence agencies, I allege, are now searching through to see what evidence Gene has found, what evidence Jason has found, what evidence John Cullen has found. They're going to wipe away the stupid and useless evidence, and they're going to focus on the people who are zeroing in on important evidence, namely, somebody shot from the water tower while Max Yearick was killed on site. I have seen a total of 0 reliable evidence. I haven't seen any credible evidence that Thomas Crooks was anywhere near this incident at any time on July 13th.
Interesting. It's interesting.
I don't want to get totally, like you said, don't want to get it into investigatory on the pictures, but there are nodules on the ear that match Crooks, but the ear just looks like it's odd that it's standing out. Somebody else pointed out that Yearick has a mole on his neck, and I discounted it. I thought, no, that's just a blood splotch. And somebody said, no, go look behind the blood splotch. There's a pencil mole. So then I went back to Yearick's photo, Not that one, but another one I had found, and sure enough,
Ooh,
he had a
you got
pencil
it.
mark.
Bam.
Nice,
That's him.
nice, nice.
It's him. I told you, it's him. Okay, so this is good.
So then
So Gene,
you also,
let's do another show in the future where we get into critical analysis of photos like this and stuff, because that takes quite a lot of time. But I want to just give people an overview of what you have discovered. Let's move on to this van evidence, because this is really important. So you, like I, looked up Max Yearick's phone number, and that led to some peripheral information about him. Let's not show all that because it's got addresses and stuff. I've got something here on my screen share. Let's see you and Sandra.
yes. Real quick, I wanted to get to me going to. So I did look through a multiple people finders, couldn't find where he was. I then found one that pointed me to an address in the Pittsburgh area, we'll say.
Yeah, okay.
So I decided I'm going to his house. If this was the guy, then he's not going to answer the door.
Hello, everybody.
I'm going to skip ahead, and I get to the door, and a lady answers.
She knows him, but she says he doesn't live there anymore.
Yeah, I guess I'll
This
just
is
give you the brief.
unbelievable.
I give you
This
the
is
brief
unreal.
overview. She comes to the
You
door
went,
and
you
says,
went, whoa,
Hang
whoa,
on.
whoa. You went
Hang
to
on.
Max Yearick's house? I'm just
Yeah,
checking my
this is just-
understanding here.
hang
You went
on.
to Max
Let me-
Yearick's house, right?
His
Checking my
old house.
understanding.
The
His
last
old
known
one.
address in Pittsburgh,
yes.
Gotcha. Okay, okay.
So that was on
the Monday,
Monday the 15th. He was a former tenant, she says. He's still using her address, or had used her address.
yeah, for mailing purposes.
She says she
Now, wait a
hasn't
minute.
seen-
Wait. Stay on that a second. She said with her consent he's using the address, or she's annoyed that he's using the address?
Her consent.
Yes.
With her consent.
Yeah, he asked if
Whoa.
it would be okay if he kept the address for mailing purposes, and she said that it was fine by her.
When's the last time she spoke to him?
She said she hadn't seen to him in months in this video.
So what's happening with his mail? What mail has she received for him? Did she say anything about that?
I didn't ask that, but I did leave her my phone number, a name and phone number, and says she was cordial with me. Said if you could confirm, I said I know this is awkward, but if you could confirm with me that he's alive or dead, greatly appreciate it. And I haven't heard from her since the 15th, and that's over a week.
So why is he asking her to hold the mail? Does she own this property and she rented it to him, or do we know?
She says she's the new tenant. He was a former tenant, but from talking to her, it sounds like they were friends. She knew who he was, knew of him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was
So
she was alerted. I told her, I said, look, I'm just an activist looking to try to follow leads. She goes, I don't want people coming to my house. Is this going to happen? Like, is there going to be a bunch of people? I'm like, no, I'm probably the only person
right.
crazy enough to come and ask you anything.
Nobody should go to anybody's house as a result of watching this show. We're not
Yes,
telling
please.
anybody to do anything. No one should ever take any action on this show other than to become sponsors. Nothing we say is a call to action other than please visit subscribestar.com/IamJohnCullen, patreon.com/IamJohnCullen, odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth, crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com and subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. And I'm not joking when I say that. If anybody does that type of thing, it is immediately used against us. This is like watching Jackass. These stunts are performed by professionals, and you should not attempt to do this at home. So now this, Gene, is very interesting as well. You point out that Fox News broadcast that night that a white GMC Safari van was towed from a neighbor. They even interviewed the guy who said, hey, this is my street. I'm living very near the venue. I noticed this weird van, and I observed, this witness that she speaks to, observed Arizona plates on the van in his neighborhood, and he had never seen this van before. And what's interesting, Gene, is that when you finally did track down Max Yearick, it linked to his father. When I observed that the father was deceased, I stopped looking. You went on and saw that there were records of the father having owned this 1999 GMC Safari. And guess what? That looks like exactly what is being flatbedded out of that neighborhood with this guy in Butler, PA, doesn't it?
Yes.
That would also line up with why he. So imagine if Max Yearick is living out of a van, he would need a mailing address.
Now
for
wait,
somebody
what's
to
this
hold
van?
his mail.
That was giving people an idea of what the model it was. That's not the
Okay,
exact van.
that's the
I was
different
just
thing.
trying. Yeah.
So there's something else quite interesting that came up, and there's people who are sharing. Did I put this on Twitter yesterday? I can't recall. There's people who have been sharing this video that somebody shot like the morning they were setting up. And it's just somebody sticking their hand out the window of their car as they drive by, and they happen to catch, I don't think I've posted it yet, they happen to catch the water tower. And there is what looks to me like a white van parked underneath it.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I posted it. I posted that.
I did a comparison with a 1999 GMC Safari. Let me grab that and we'll take a look at that. Yeah. So tell us more, Gene, about what you found here.
So I guess I want to be careful and respectful that I'm not sharing names and addresses, but I guess let me speak through that. I went back to Max's account through a website called binverified.com. Found out that like you said, his father owned a van, but then I wanted to see if there was a way to track where this van went. Probably was inherited. So I went and checked out the living the wife that had continued to live on.
His mother,
She had the same exact van show up as an asset for her. Then I went back to Maxwell Yearick, and it showed that he had an exact match with that van. So it seems like this van was passed around. The grandfather used to live in Arizona. This had Arizona plates, and now I'm not saying that it's absolutely him, but he's definitely a person of interest in my book. So.
Oh, I agree. This is incredibly strong circumstantial evidence.
I think it marries up. I think it matches up with the forwarding of the mail. As soon as you said forwarding of the mail, I'm thinking the kid's living in the van.
My mind goes to him trying to identity duplex his address so you can't find exactly where he lives. I don't know that driving a van necessarily equates to living in it, but definitely these intelligence-minded individuals want to make it as difficult as possible for you to figure out what their real address is, and having mail sent to that house. I mean, look, it got Gene to go to the wrong house. That seems like exactly what he wanted to do, I think.
Yep.
Oh, that's interesting. I see your twist. All right, the other twist here that's interesting is that the report from CNN is that Thomas Crooks drove a Hyundai Sonata to the event. So we got a Hyundai Sonata, we've got a van, and then there were other reports that he was on a bicycle casing the joint. And the guy with the bicycle, what?
You know what that tells me?
What?
It tells me that every single thing they're telling us about Crooks is pure bullshit.
Yeah.
Until we have some verifiable evidence that he was even there. Here's what I want people to remember. Either you believe that a lone 20-year-old kid planned one of the most tactically perfect, except for missing, things, in a day. This basically was announced 10 days before it happened. He goes there in the morning and puts up a drone and then selects the perfect position, hidden from the counter snipers, perfect shot at Trump. I just don't buy that at all. How do we know he flew a drone? They just keep saying reports indicate that he flew a drone. What report indicates that? Show me the report. Show me some evidence that he flew a drone, because I certainly haven't seen any, and I just find every single thing that they're telling us about Thomas Crooks to be contradictory and stupid at best, and none of it hangs together or makes any sense. Today they announced that they were...
Yeah, that's not the van. That's a police cruiser. It's a different image that shows the van under the water tower. I have it, and it's very blurry. That's a police cruiser, and there's a cop standing against it.
Police cruiser.
It's like a Ford Explorer. Yeah, it's a Ford Explorer with police push bars and a cop leaning against it. I've already studied this. I have the image of the van under the water tower. You're right. There is an image of the van under the water tower.
Maybe this is from a different video. Well, let's see that. Can you send that?
I posted it. On Twitter. If you go to my Twitter feed, in fact, I just posted something breaking that, Gene, you may not have noticed, but you did film. So you filmed it. I broke it down. I think we found ballistic evidence of a shot taken after the guy on the roof is dead. So after the guy on the roof is dead, if there is a shot taken at the president, that can't be the kid on the roof, right?
Right.
right? So you see the SWAT team guys on the stage. I believe we have a photo of the SWAT team guy getting shot at. You're going to see it right now. Let's take a look. Jason's got it
In
queued up.
this?
Yes. Watch. Now, is this guy just, this
Whoa.
is how he moves?
Why is he
this
doing that? Right.
Is that how he moves? Is that how he always walks? He looks down, he lifts his foot up 18 inches off the ground, and then he steps forward?
Does something
Or
hit
did-
somewhere?
Did something just go right by his foot into the stage, but the kid on the roof is dead?
Yeah. Because
Kid on
here's
the
the
roof
thing.
is dead.
This is I want people to contemplate this. Either you believe that a 20-year-old kid went in there and got up to the roof by himself, which defies all plausible understanding of everything, or you believe something else happened. And if something else happened, based on everything that we're seeing right now, the fact that the Secret Service director, the FBI doesn't want to testify, they're lying to us. They're obviously covering it up. So that would mean that if you don't believe that a 20-year-old kid did this by himself, something else happened, and there is a conspiracy. I would offer my personal belief, my opinion, based on looking at all this evidence, is that this was a conspiracy at the absolutely highest level. Law enforcement, intelligence, Joe Biden's administration were all involved. And everybody who is sharing this evidence with us is frankly suspect. And that doesn't mean that I think that every single law enforcement person who was there was involved. But as we are listening to these different hearings, there was a Homeland Security Committee hearing today with a guy who is the colonel or something of the Pennsylvania State Police, and he's revealing to us how much the state police were compartmentalized. He revealed today that the Secret Service had an encrypted radio channel that his officers had no access to. So what do they communicate? I mean, it's okay, that's reasonable that they have that, but we also heard from the Secret Service, the director, they don't record that. So we have no idea what they were communicating about. And if it was planned in the way that I'm describing, that would mean military and police tacticians planned this. And if you're going to do something this audacious, where the stakes are this high, you will not rely on one shooter. There would be a minimum of double redundancy, and not only in terms of the shooting. I'm saying you'd have redundancy in terms of trying to murder the target, and you'd also have redundancy in terms of distractions. The guy on the top of the roof, whoever it is intended to distract the counter snipers and draw their fire while the actual shooters are killing the target. He's also intended to distract the public and the news, which is why he's allowed to traipse around. And now we can spend the next 40 years arguing about why was nothing done while this guy was all walking around. Gee, I don't know. I guess I must be incompetent. I have to resign. No, you must be complicit and you have to be charged as an accessory to murder. So we're going to make our way over to this sponsor exclusive segment, but we've still got Jean and Sandra with us. I want to make sure they've had an opportunity to share everything with us that they want. Jean, Sandra, anything else you want to add before we end this segment and carry on with the sponsors?
Yes. I have two big questions. One, where is this Honda Sonata that was driving around all day that people have said all day it had explosives in it? It just disappeared. And we find this van. And secondly, I've offered $1,000 for anybody that can irrefutably show proof of life for Maxwell Yearick. I've had that up for over a week now, about a week, and nobody's come forward. So all Max has to do is show his face with a picture of a newspaper after July 13th, and I'd be happy, but that has not happened. And I will have John verify it wasn't photoshopped.
Absolutely. And, you know, just to reiterate, what you're saying there, wouldn't you think that if there were an internet kerfuffle accusing you of being involved in murdering or attempting to murder the president and people saying you're dead, this kid had a big, Yearick now, he had a social media presence. He had all kinds of, deviant art page and blogs that he was making and different Twitter accounts. Wouldn't his sister is still alive. His sister was working in the art department on certain feature films. I even know some of the production companies that she was working for. I wanted to call them, but as I worked through it, it's unlikely that the people that I know at the production companies or the executives would know this low-level art department person. But Yearick himself, also an extremely talented graphic designer and artist, wouldn't you say?
Yes. Yep.
It's interesting.
He was also friends with a gentleman got arrested with him in 2016. His name was Kenan Hopper, and a little cautious on saying that, but since then somebody's already approached him because he's seen multiple times with him, and there's question about another photo of a gentleman crouched down near the fence line. If I could share
I have that interview. That guy was interviewed, and he was taken into custody. So that guy that's actually the guy with the bicycle. So the bicycle belongs to a guy who seems like he might be homeless. He says he's riding across the country and he's going to Idaho. He's interviewed by a local guy and said he was taken into custody, and they interviewed him for about 5 hours, FBI, ATF, whatever, and then they released him when they think they realize he's really just kind of like a homeless guy on a bicycle.
Go back real quick. Sorry about that. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
John.
No, this is important.
Another
Tattoo.
one there. You kind of see that he has his forearm there, and that picture may have a tattoo on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next picture shows Yearick with the tattoo on his inside of his right arm. So there's another thing making me question: is that really Yearick's body up there?
But this is his left arm that they're looking at, isn't it?
Left arm. His left arm, yeah. I think
But I think he's got tattoos all over the place. I had posted a bunch of pictures of this guy's tattoos. Oh, right, that is his left arm.
It's the inside of his left arm.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, it is blurry in the photo, but why would the cop be looking right at that if it wasn't a tattoo?
Take a photo of the tattoo. Right. That's how they photograph your tattoos to identify that that's who you are.
It's Yearick on the roof, and it was obvious on the 13th, and they're lying about it. See, the other thing is, here's the thing. If the government and the cops and everybody investigating this had been giving us loads of truthful information from the beginning and occasionally made mistakes, all right, maybe that's a thing. But they've been obviously lying about virtually everything. Why should we trust or listen to a single thing they say?
Right.
Gene, I'm going to ask you a personal question. Do you have a kid in their 20s or 30s?
I do.
Okay, I do too. I got 2 kids in their 20s or 30s. If the news was reporting, or there was all this chatter on Twitter, that one of my daughters in her 20s or 30s was the real assassin, and everybody was saying it was really Sally Cullen, and it's not Crooks, it's Sally Cullen, my daughter, right, who's 25, right? Don't you think she would come forward and say, Daddy, everybody's saying it was really me, and it wasn't really me.
Right.
Can you get me on a podcast so I can tell everybody, hey, I'm Sally Cullen. I'm here, everybody. And Gene, can I have that $1,000?
Right.
Right?
Even
dude,
without the 1,000, you're right. No one would allow this to go on for a family member. He has living family members. Where's the mother? Why isn't NBC News contacting the mother? John, we need to talk about Brandy Zadrozny contacting you and the hit piece that NBC News has just run on you. But let's do that in the sponsor exclusive segment. Gene,
that's
Sandra. What?
That's the bicycle guy. That's the bicycle guy. That's the one they took into custody. And I got an interview with him. I've got an interview with him. I'll show you that.
He's wearing a police garb that says police on the back.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Boy, he sure looks like Keenan, doesn't he?
Doesn't he?
Oh no, maybe that's the police officer, and they're just arresting him. He's got his.
Yeah, it's a guy hunched over wearing the police
There we
outfit,
go.
arresting him,
There's
handcuffing him. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you who he is. I have this interview, guys. I'll show the patrons who this is, and you'll hear in his voice that he was taken into custody. He'll tell you the whole story.
Well, so let's do that
If he
now.
was there, then his buddy was there.
You guys are going to stay with us.
Yes.
Gene and Sandra are going to stay with us for the sponsor segment. So if people want to watch the rest of this deep dive into all this evidence, please join us. If you're not already a sponsor, you're going to be able to watch this simulcast either on John's channels or on the Crowdsource the Truth channels. Please get over to subscribestar.com/IamJohnCullen, patreon.com/IamJohnCullen, odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth. crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com and subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. The next time you see Sandra and Gene on the show, I'm going to be yapping about a Substack and a Subscribestar channel I'm going to try to convince him to make, but he's got one more thing to tell us before we make our way over. What do you got, Gene?
Sandra, any follow-up on that? On anything we just talked about, anything you wanted to...
I just wanted to make a side comment that I think his sister made a comment on your Facebook
Yearick's?
page.
Yes.
Yearick's sister? What did she say?
Yes. She said, quote, "Y'all are morons." And then I asked, ma'am, I understand why you might call us names. Could you please verify? Even though she wouldn't reply after that. And then found her his other sister. She won't reply either. So
the mother won't answer the phone. I've been calling the mother a lot. These people know what's going on to some extent. They've been told to shut up.
If anybody would like to follow what Sandra and I do with 9/11 Truth, if I may plug my own show.
Please.
Yeah, we run a weekly podcast. It's a roundtable discussion. It's a Zoom call. Anybody's welcome. Every Sunday, 5 p.m. It's called the 9/11 War Room. Eastern time, yes. And it usually goes 1 to 2 hours. And we talk about the new events in 9/11, any new news. And we just keep it alive because there is still very interesting information being discussed about that even 23 years later.
911warroom.com, and people who are interested in that should definitely check it out. I want to thank Sandra and Gene for joining us, but they're going to stay with us, and don't miss the sponsor exclusive segment. We're going to keep rolling. We'll be back